The private dining room at Hwaeonjin, Seoul's most exclusive traditional restaurant where reservations require both money and bloodline, gleams with understated luxury silk screens depicting cranes in flight, antique porcelain that survived dynasties, and a low table set for three that might as well be a battlefield disguised as a family meal. Seo Hae-jin adjusts her borrowed designer dress purchased hastily that afternoon on Min Jae's corporate card because he insisted she couldn't meet his grandfather in her modest office attire and tries to calm her racing heart. Across from her, Kang Min Jae sits with the rigid posture of a soldier awaiting execution, his jaw tight, his hands perfectly still in a way that suggests enormous control over the anxiety she knows he must be feeling. And at the head of the table, Chairman Kang Dae-young, 83 years old with eyes like a hawk and the presence of someone who built an empire through sheer force of will, studies Hae-jin the way a jeweler examines a suspicious stone, looking for flaws, for cracks, for any reason to declare her worthless. "So," the chairman says, his voice gravelly with age but sharp with intelligence, "this is the girl who convinced my grandson to bypass all protocols, all standard hiring procedures, all common sense, and install her as his personal assistant." He picks up his teacup with hands that show the slight tremor of age but lose none of their authority. "Tell me, Miss Seo, what makes you so exceptional that Min Jae abandoned the entire vetting process we've used for decades?" Hae-jin feels Min Jae tense beside her, but before he can intercept, she speaks. "Because running, hiding, letting others fight her battles, that's the old Hae-jin. The one who lost everything." "Nothing, Chairman Kang," she says clearly, meeting his gaze. "I'm not exceptional. I'm not from a prestigious family or a top university. I don't have connections or an impressive resume. What I have is determination to prove that your grandson's unusual decision wasn't a mistake. Every day, I work to earn the position I was given." The chairman's eyebrows rise slightly. He wasn't expecting honesty. Most people who sit across from him offer flattery, manipulation, carefully crafted responses designed to impress. "Min Jae," he says, not taking his eyes off Hae-jin, "explain." Min Jae's voice is measured, controlled. She's efficient, intelligent, and handles pressure better than candidates with twice her experience. "I saw potential others missed. That's all. That's all." The chairman's skepticism fills the room. "You've never deviated from protocol before. Not once in 10 years of running the company. Yet for this girl, you make an exception. Why?" And here's the moment where everything could unravel, where the truth about that night could emerge and destroy both of them. Hae-jin holds her breath, waiting to see if Min Jae will sacrifice her to appease his grandfather's suspicions. But he doesn't. Instead, he does something that surprises even her. "Because I'm tired of surrounding myself with people who only tell me what I want to hear," Min Jae says, and there's still underneath the respect in his voice. "Miss Seo challenges me, questions my decisions when they're wrong, refuses to be intimidated by my position. Those are qualities that make her invaluable, regardless of her background." The silence that follows is profound. The chairman sets down his teacup with deliberate slowness. "Challenges you," he repeats, "and you find this valuable?" "I find it necessary, sir." Something passes between grandfather and grandson then, some complex communication built on years of history that Hae-jin isn't privy to. The chairman's expression doesn't soften exactly, but the intensity of his scrutiny shifts slightly. "My grandson," he says to Hae-jin, still not looking at Min Jae, "was raised to be perfect, emotionless, a machine designed to run my company after I'm gone. I did that to him. His parents were useless, so I made him hard, made him cold, perhaps too cold." He finally looks at Min Jae. "If you've found someone who reminds you that you're human, then maybe your deviation from protocol isn't stupidity after all." The dinner that follows is tense but no longer hostile. The chairman asks Hae-jin about her family, her education, her views on business ethics and loyalty. She answers honestly, not trying to impress, just being herself. And somehow, impossibly, the old man seems to approve. As they're leaving, he pulls Min Jae aside for a private word while Hae-jin waits by the entrance. "She's strong," the chairman says quietly, "stronger than she looks." But there are people in our world who will see her as a weakness. Your weakness. They'll use her to get to you. Are you prepared for that? Min Jae's expression is unreadable. I can protect what's mine. What's yours? The chairman's smile is knowing. So it's like that already. Be careful, Min Jae. Love is the most dangerous game our kind can play. In the car ride back, Hae-jin and Min Jae sit in silence, both processing what just happened. Finally, she speaks. He knows. Knows what? That there's something between us. Something more than employer and assistant. Min Jae doesn't deny it. My grandfather knows everything. It's his particular talent. He glances at her. Does that bother you? Should it? Hae-jin counters. Should the fact that people might notice we're... She trails off, not sure how to finish. What are they exactly? Complicated. Min Jae supplies. We're complicated. His hand resting on the seat between them shifts slightly, not quite touching hers, but close enough that she can feel the heat. The question is, do we uncomplicate things, or do we accept the complication and deal with the consequences? Before Hae-jin can answer, her phone buzzes. A text from a number she doesn't recognize. She opens it and feels her blood turn to ice. It's a photo of her entering Min Jae's building this morning, with a caption that makes her stomach drop. Looks like someone's moving up in the world. Does the CEO know what kind of girl he hired? There's a second message immediately after. We should talk. Hae-won. Of course. Of course her sister would find out. Of course this moment of progress would be interrupted by the past she's been trying to escape. Min Jae sees her expression change. What is it? Hae-jin shows him the messages. His face hardens instantly, that cold mask slamming back into place. Your sister is threatening you. She's threatening both of us, Hae-jin corrects. If she tells people about that night, about how we really met, your reputation suffers. Your business relationships suffer. Everything you've built could be damaged by association with me. Then we'll deal with her. Min Jae's voice is flat, dangerous. I don't respond well to blackmail. No, Hae-jin's voice is firm. This is my mess. My family. I'll handle it. We handle it together. Min Jae meets her eyes. That's what partners do. And whether you've realized it yet or not, we're partners now. In business and in whatever this complicated thing between us is. The word partners does something to Hae-jin's chest, makes it tight and warm and terrifying all at once. But there's no time to examine those feelings because her phone is buzzing again. Hae-won, persistent as ever. Tomorrow, Cav Dior. PM. Don't make me come to your fancy new office. The next afternoon, Hae-jin sits in the aggressively trendy cafe, all white marble and gold fixtures, where a single coffee costs more than she used to spend on groceries. Hae-won arrives 15 minutes late because of course she does, making an entrance in head-to-toe Chanel. Her hair perfect, her makeup flawless, every inch the successful older sister who has it all figured out. She slides into the seat across from Hae-jin with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. Look at you, Hae-won says, eyeing Hae-jin's new professional wardrobe, still not designer, but better than the discount store pieces she used to wear. Min Jae's money looks good on you. Tell me, little sister, what exactly did you do to land such a lucrative position? Hae-jin doesn't take the bait. What do you want, Hae-won? What I've always wanted. What's fair? Hae-won leans back, completely at ease, enjoying this. See, I couldn't help but notice that you went from working at a bookstore to being the personal assistant to one of Korea's most eligible bachelors. That's quite a leap. And I thought to myself, how does that happen? What's the story there? I interviewed. I was qualified. He hired me. Each word is carefully controlled. But that's not the whole story, is it? Hae-won's smile sharpens, because I did some digging, called in some favors, and apparently no one at Kang Industries knows anything about your hiring process. No HR file. No interview records. You just appeared one day, which is strange, don't you think? She pauses for effect. Unless there's a reason Min Jae wanted to keep your hiring off the books. A personal reason. Hae-jin's heart pounds, but she keeps her expression neutral. Get to the point. The point is leverage, darling. Hae-won pulls out her phone, begins scrolling through photos. I have connections at several gossip sites. One call from me, One little hint about the mysterious circumstances of your employment, about possible impropriety between you and your powerful boss, and your little fairy tale explodes. His reputation takes a hit. Your career is over before it starts. Everything you've built these past weeks crumbles. So this is blackmail. This is business. Haiwan corrects. And here's the deal. You resign quietly. You disappear from Min Jae's life and from mine. And in exchange, I keep your secrets. You get to maintain your dignity. He gets to avoid a scandal. Everyone wins. Everyone except me, you mean? Hae-jin can't believe what she's hearing. You already took my boyfriend. Now you want to take my job, my future, everything I'm trying to build. Why? What did I ever do to you that warrants this level of cruelty? For just a moment, something raw flashes across Hae-won's perfect features. Something that might be pain or might be hatred with her sister. The line between the two has always been blurred. You existed, she says quietly. You existed and everyone loved you for it. Mom, Dad, everyone we met. You didn't have to try. You didn't have to be perfect. You just were yourself and that was somehow enough. Do you know what it's like being the sister who has to work for every scrap of affection you get effortlessly? So that's what this is about. Hae-jin's voice rises despite her efforts to stay calm. Your jealousy? Your insecurity? You're willing to destroy my life because you can't handle the fact that people liked me. I'm willing to do what's necessary to get what I want. Hae-won snaps back. Which is something you never understood. The world doesn't reward nice girls, Hae-jin. It rewards those who take what they want and don't apologize. No, the word comes out hard, final. I'm not resigning. I'm not running away. And I'm not letting you bully me anymore. Hae-won's expression shifts to genuine surprise. You're refusing? Do you understand what I can do to you? Do what you need to do. Hae-jin stands, gathering her things. But understand this. I'm not the same girl you betrayed on Valentine's Day. That girl would have crumbled, would have run, would have let you win because she thought she deserved the punishment. But I'm different now. Stronger. And whatever you try to destroy, I'll rebuild. Whatever lies you spread, I'll counter with truth. You don't have power over me anymore. She walks out before Hae-won can respond, her hands shaking but her head high, and it's only when she's 3 blocks away that she lets herself feel the terror of what she's just done. Because Hae-won wasn't bluffing, she has connections, resources, the kind of social capital that can destroy reputations. And Hae-jin has just declared war on her own sister. Her phone rings. Min Jae. How did it go? Badly. Hae-jin admits. She wants me to resign or she'll spread rumors about us. I refused. There's a pause. You refused. Yes. Was that wrong? Wrong? Min Jae's voice carries something she's never heard from him before, pride. That was exactly right. Come back to the office. We need to plan our counter move. But the counter move becomes complicated because the same afternoon, Ji-hoon appears. He corners Hae-jin in the lobby of Kang Industries as she's returning from lunch, and for a moment she barely recognizes him. He looks diminished somehow, his usual confidence replaced with something desperate. Hae-jin, please. I need to talk to you. We have nothing to discuss. She moves to step around him, but he blocks her path. I made a mistake. The biggest mistake of my life. Ji-hoon's words tumble out in a rush. Hae-won, she's not. It's not what I thought it would be. She's cold, manipulative. She only wanted me because you had me first. I realize that now. I realize what I lost. Hae-jin stares at him. This man she once loved, once imagined a future with, and feels nothing. No anger, no pain, just a distant sort of pity. You didn't lose me, Ji-hoon. You threw me away. There's a difference. I know. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He reaches for her hand, but she pulls back. But we can start over. We can try again. I'll end things with Hae-won. I'll stop. Hae-jin's voice is gentle but firm. Even if I wanted to go back, which I don't, you're missing the point. What you did showed me who you really are. Someone who makes decisions based on social status and convenience rather than genuine feeling. Someone who can betray the person who loves them without hesitation. That's not a mistake, Ji-hoon. That's character. And character doesn't change. You've changed, he says, and there's accusation in it. Working for Kang Min Jae, wearing expensive clothes, acting like you're better than what? Better than you? Hae-jin laughs, and it's a real laugh, free of bitterness. No, Ji-hoon, I'm just better than I was. Better than the girl who accepted scraps of affection and called it love. Better than the girl who made herself small so others could feel big. That's not about you anymore. That's about me finally understanding my own worth. She walks away, leaving him standing in the lobby, and doesn't look back. It's such a small moment, such a brief interaction, but it feels monumental. Because she's just closed a door that she's been leaving ajar for weeks, just in case. Just if maybe. Now it's sealed shut, and what's on the other side doesn't matter anymore. When she reaches Min Jae's office, she finds him in a heated phone conversation. His voice the controlled kind of angry that's more terrifying than shouting. He sees her enter and wraps up quickly. Your ex-boyfriend was just removed from the building by security, he says without preamble. He won't bother you again. You had him removed. Hae-jin doesn't know whether to be grateful or concerned about this level of protection. He cornered you, made you uncomfortable. That's enough. Min Jae studies her carefully. Unless you wanted to talk to him? Unless there's still something unresolved there? There's nothing unresolved, Hae-jin says firmly. Whatever I felt for him died on Valentine's Day. I just hadn't properly buried it until today. Something in Min Jae's expression softens. Good. Because we have bigger problems. He shows her his phone. The gossip site article has already been posted not by Hae-won, but by someone else. The headline reads, Kang Industries CEO's mysterious new assistant, romantic involvement or professional hire. It's careful enough to avoid direct accusations but salacious enough to plant seeds of doubt. Comments are already piling up, speculating wildly about their relationship. How do we fight this? Hae-jin asks, feeling panic rise. We don't. Min Jae's answer surprises her. We control the narrative instead. I'm calling a press conference for tomorrow. We address this directly, transparently, and we take away their ammunition. A press conference? To say what? That we did meet under questionable circumstances but now we work together? That won't exactly to tell the truth, Min Jae interrupts. Or enough of it that matters. That I hired you unconventionally because I recognized talent others missed. That our working relationship is professional and productive. That rumors suggesting otherwise are attempts by business rivals to create scandal where none exists. We face it head on, together. The word together again. It keeps appearing in their conversations, weighted with meaning neither of them is quite ready to examine fully. But Hae-jin is learning that sometimes you don't need to understand something completely to trust it. The press conference the next morning is brutal. Reporters fire questions like weapons, trying to find the weakness, the contradiction, the crack in their unified front. But Min Jae handles it with the cold precision of someone who's trained for this since childhood, and when they turn their attention to Hae-jin, she surprises even herself with how steady she sounds. Miss Seo, critics suggest you're unqualified for your position. How do you respond? I respond by doing my job excellently every day, she says, meeting the reporter's eyes. Qualifications on paper matter less than results in practice. I've produced results. That's what matters. Are you professionally associated with Mr. Kang? My personal matters are private, she replied calmly. My work performance speaks for itself, and I'd appreciate if the discussion stayed focused on that. It wasn't a direct answer, and the reporters noticed, but it also wasn't an admission. More importantly, her response was delivered with such clarity and confidence that there was no obvious angle to push further. Min Jae immediately supported her by smoothly shifting the conversation toward upcoming company projects, outlining new initiatives and future goals. The attention quickly moved away from speculation and back to measurable achievements. By the end of the briefing, nothing had been fully resolved, but nothing had been damaged either. The discussion remained professional, neutral, and grounded in facts. What stood out most was their shared competence and composure. It wasn't a dramatic conclusion, but it reflected reality. Steady progress, handled responsibly. Later, in his office, Min Jae loosened his tie and let out a quiet breath. You handled that very well, he said. I learned from experience, Hae-jin replied, sitting across from him, tired but composed. But this probably won't be the last time people ask questions. there will always be curiosity. That's true, Min-jae said thoughtfully. The real question is whether we can continue doing good work despite the noise. Whether what we're building here is strong enough to stand on its own. Hae-jin considered this. Is it? He was quiet for a moment before answering. Then he stood and moved closer, lowering himself to sit across from her so they were at the same level. Not long ago, he said, I believed everything in my life had to be controlled and planned. I focused only on results. But working with you changed that. You brought new perspectives. You challenged old habits. You reminded me that growth doesn't always come from certainty. She listened carefully. When we started working together, she said, I was uncertain and discouraged. I doubted myself, but through our collaboration, I learned that setbacks don't mean failure. Sometimes they're just part of learning. You treated me like someone capable of improvement, and that helped me improve. Min-jae nodded. So where does that leave us? Teammates, Hae-jin said with a small, sincere smile. People learning, adjusting, and building something meaningful step by step. No grand story. Just steady effort. I'm still learning how to do this, Min-jae admitted. Working with people, trusting the process. Then we learn together, she replied. One day at a time. They shared a quiet moment of mutual understanding, grounded in respect and shared purpose. Min-jae smiled lightly. This is going to keep a few people talking. Hae-jin smiled back. Let them. We'll stay focused. My sister can handle it, Hae-jin says quietly. I just want to make my own choices now. A few days later, Hae-jin is invited to her childhood home for a family dinner. Her mother asks her to come because she misses her and wants everyone together. Hae-jin agrees, hoping the evening will be peaceful. When she arrives, the house feels familiar but tense. Her mother smiles warmly and serves food, doing her best to keep the mood light. Her father eats slowly, listening more than he speaks. Hae-won sits across from Hae-jin, calm but watchful. During dinner, Hae-won speaks up. Mom, Dad, did you hear? Hae-jin started a new job recently. Her mother looks pleased. Really? That's wonderful news. Yes, Hae-won says. She's working for Kang Min-jae now. He runs a very successful company. That sounds like a big opportunity, their mother says kindly. You must have worked very hard. Before Hae-jin can answer, Hae-won adds, it must have been a big change for her. Hae-jin nods. It was. I learned a lot and I'm still learning. Hae-won tilts her head. It's impressive. I was just surprised. Hae-jin takes a deep breath. She realizes this moment isn't about proving anything. It's about speaking honestly. I didn't get here because of luck alone, Hae-jin says gently. I worked hard, stayed focused, and did my best. Someone noticed, and I was given a chance. She looks around the table. I don't expect everyone to understand my journey, but I'm proud of myself. And that's enough for me. Her mother nods slowly. As long as you're doing your best. That's what matters. Hae-jin stands and picks up her bag. I love you all, but I'm learning to trust myself and follow my own path. Her father looks at her thoughtfully. That takes courage. Hae-jin smiles softly. I think so too. She leaves the house peacefully. No one argues. No one raises their voice. Outside, Min-jae is waiting in the car, just as she hoped. He opens the door for her and asks, how did it go? She sits down and exhales. It was difficult, but important. He nods. I'm glad you spoke your truth. As they drive away, Hae-jin feels calm. She knows growing up doesn't always mean everyone agrees with you. Sometimes it simply means believing in yourself and moving forward with kindness. He drives quietly without asking where they are going. Soon, Hae-jin realizes they are heading toward Namsan Tower, the observation deck that looks out over the whole city of Seoul. They stand side by side at the railing, watching the city lights glow softly as evening settles in. For a while, neither of them speaks. Then Min-jae breaks the silence. My grandfather called today, he says calmly. He wants to publicly acknowledge that we are working closely together. Hae-jin turns to him. Publicly? Yes, Min-jae explains. He believes our teamwork has been positive for me and for the company. Making it official would prevent misunderstandings and unnecessary rumors. He pauses. But it would place you in the public eye. Your work, your background, even your family would receive attention. I don't want to decide that for you. Hae-jin looks out at the city. 3 months ago, she would have been afraid of attention, afraid of being judged. But she has changed. She has learned confidence, resilience, and trust in her own abilities. What do you want? She asks. I want you to feel respected, Min-jae replies, and safe, and free to choose what's best for you. After a moment, Hae-jin nods. Let's do it. I'm not hiding anymore. I want to stand confidently in who I am and what I've worked for. Min-jae smiles warmly. Then we'll move forward together. 2 days later, a carefully written announcement is released. It explains that Kang Min-jae and Seo Hae-jin have developed a strong professional partnership through months of collaboration, and that the company fully supports their teamwork and mutual respect. As expected, people talk. Some are curious, some are supportive, some simply enjoy discussing the news. But Hae-jin goes to work the next morning with confidence. She focuses on her responsibilities, treats everyone with kindness, and continues doing her job with excellence. When business competitors tried to distract Min-jae by questioning his decisions, he calmly redirects every discussion back to results and performance. He makes it clear that professionalism and fairness guide all company actions. Hae-won appears once more at Kang Industries, hoping to speak with her sister. Security politely explains company policies, and she leaves without incident. Watching from upstairs, Hae-jin doesn't feel anger, she feels understanding. She realizes her sister is still learning how to measure success without comparison. 2 months later, on an ordinary Tuesday, Min-jae and Hae-jin are called into Chairman Kang's study. The elderly man sits behind his desk, looking satisfied. I'm retiring, he announces. Min-jae will officially take over as chairman. He then turns to Hae-jin. I've also decided to create a new role, Director of Strategic Operations. Someone who brings insight, balance, and courage. Someone who has proven their ability through dedication and hard work. He slides a document across the desk. The position is yours, if you want it. Hae-jin reads the paper carefully. This isn't a favor. It's recognition. She looks up and smiles. I would be honored, she says. Thank you, Chairman Kang nods. You earned it, now go. I have retirement plans to make. In the hallway outside, Min-jae smiles at her proudly. Director Seo, he says, it suits you. Hae-jin laughs softly. It really does. And for the first time, she knows without doubt that she has arrived not because of luck, but because she believed in herself. Though this means we'll be working together even more closely, Min-jae says with a thoughtful smile. Are you comfortable with that? Hae-jin nods. I've learned that working alongside people who challenge me helps me grow. Min-jae's expression turns sincere. Over the past months, I've watched you face difficulties with strength and determination. You've changed the way I see leadership, teamwork, and success. I don't know exactly what the future holds, and I know challenges will come. But I do know this: I want to keep moving forward, learning, and building something meaningful with you. Even when I question decisions or push back. Hae-jin asks, especially then. Min-jae replies. That's how progress happens. Hae-jin reflects on how far they've both come. From confusion and setbacks to clarity and confidence. From uncertainty to cooperation and trust. So what's next? She asks. We continue working, learning, and growing. Yes, Min-jae says. We live responsibly. We work with purpose. And we face future challenges as partners who respect and support one another. When things become difficult, and they will, we remember that we've already overcome our hardest moments. Everything else can be solved step by step. Standing there, Hae-jin realizes that growth doesn't come from perfection. It comes from persistence, honesty, and the courage to keep moving forward. 6 months later, at a formal charity event attended by many community leaders, Hae-jin stands confidently beside Min-jae as they greet guests. The event focuses on education, opportunity, and social impact. She notices her sister across the room. For a brief moment, their eyes meet. There is no confrontation, only quiet understanding. Hae-jin realizes that not every relationship needs resolution to allow personal growth. As the evening continues, Min-jae turns to her and says, I was thinking today our first meeting happened during a difficult time for both of us. But it also became the starting point for positive change. Hae-jin smiles. Sometimes challenges lead us toward clarity. Difficult moments can become the foundation for something stronger. They raise their glasses of sparkling water in acknowledgement, not celebration of the past, but appreciation for progress. They continue the evening calmly, aware that the future will bring new responsibilities and challenges. But they also know they are prepared because growth has already taught them resilience. This is their story. Not perfect, not simple, but grounded, honest, and built on effort and mutual respect. Closing message: G-rated and platform safe. Every journey includes challenges. Sometimes mistakes lead to learning. Sometimes setbacks lead to strength. Growth often begins where comfort ends. Everyone has a story of change moments that taught valuable lessons and helped shape who they are today. These stories matter. They remind us that progress is possible and that resilience can be learned. Thank you for listening. Continue believing in growth, effort, and the power of moving forward one step at a time.